guys, my name is Rowlands and I'm a nutritional balancing practitioner. And in this video I'm going to talk about the most powerful aspect of a nutritional balancing program, but unfortunately it's one of the least done by a lot of clients because they don't understand the power of it. So basically the pushing down exercise, it used to be called the meditation observation exercise, but Dr. Wilson changed it to highlight how important it is to do the specific procedure, which is the pushing down aspect. So basically, in simple terms, I'm going to go through it more obviously in this video, but the simple terms of the pushing down exercise is to either lie down or sit down and you push energy down the body. At the same time, you're meditating on the feet. Now, this energy that's coming into the body, this is a real energy. Whether people understand it or not, it's a real thing. It's called ether, chi, prana, orgone, energy. It's the energy of God. It's the energy of love. It's actually found in quantum physics. It's actually called quantum mesh in quantum physics. And it's an energy that binds the whole universe. And you can feel this energy. It's a really powerful feeling. And basically, this energy gives everything life. It makes everything grow. It gives life to everything. It's what gives you intuition, insights. It basically is needed for life to flourish. So the more of this you can get into the system, basically, the more that you're going to be able to heal and move forward and develop, because you're bringing the energy of God, the energy of love into the body. So it's a little bit like prayer. We call it power prayer in nutritional balancing. So praying, it's a little bit different to the normal kind of praying that people think about, where people have an intention and put it out there to the universe, to this energy, to this love. In reality, what you're doing is you're allowing this energy, or you're allowing the God or the universe or love to move into the body without asking any questions, and you just allow yourself to feel the intuition, feel the knowledge. It might not come straight away, but it will do after a while, and it will feed you with the insights that you need to know to move forward in your life. And that's what's really good about it. That's why we call it a power prayer. It's a little bit like the quote in the Bible, "Thy will be done." It's something that everyone needs to kind of understand. The more that they develop themselves, is that we need to get away from our egotistical mindset of us thinking we know what's best for our situation in the world. In reality, what's best, who knows best, or what knows best, is this other energy, this universal energy, the energy of God. And you know, we have this small little brain and we think that we know what's best for ourselves, but unfortunately we do not. And at some point it's best to just surrender to that, listen to the small voice from within, which is your soul, and allow the knowledge of God to come into your system. And that's why we call it a power prayer. It's an opening type of prayer that's really, really beautiful and powerful, and allows you to become really knowledgeable and wise at the same time. So as I said, it's the most powerful part of the program. Why is it the most powerful part of the program? It's because you are working with the energy of life. This is it. Without this energy, everything would be gone. You know, it's the ether, it's the mesh that brings everything together. And the more you can get this into the body, the more you'll heal. That's why it's the most powerful part of the program. It develops the will. You know, a lot of people these days don't have good willpower. By doing the process, which I'm going to speak about soon, it allows you to focus the mind on bringing down positive energy, to focus the mind on concentrating on one aspect of the body, and that develops a lot of will. And you need a lot of willpower to follow the nutritional balancing program, because there's temptation these days everywhere. You know, we live in the age of temptation, and the more that you can actually develop the will, the more that you'll become a much wiser and much stronger person. So what it does is, as you do this willfully, it brings amazing amounts of knowledge into the body, and it rejuvenates the body and the brain. It's a little bit different to other kind of mental, emotional practices, like certain meditations, because mainly the energy is coming down the body. A lot of meditations these days, especially things like Kundalini, push the energy upwards. That's another video altogether, but we like to work with the dynamics of Yin and Yang these days. In simple terms, we're too Yin today, and Yin is upwards moving energy, it's spaciness, it's expansiveness. the human body these days are too yin. So what we need to do is to bring more yang into the body, and this is really, really good way of doing that. You're bringing heaven to earth, you know, and that's part of this new evolution. We're moving into the 5th dimension. We're moving into the age of the Aquarius, moving into the age of unity, of love, of understanding. You'll see these days that the powers that be are falling down. Information on various different topics are coming out, and they're being exposed to the public because they cannot survive the 5th dimension. This is a new era of energy that's coming over the earth and over the universe, and this is the best way of integrating yourself into this new energy, is by bringing the energy of love and power and God inside and down the feet. What you'll do is you'll find insights for the new way of living, how to be a new woman or a new man, how to live a new life, because the structures that was there before are finally coming down, and you need to be the one that's kind of the forward-thinking, trailblazing type of person, and doing the pushing down exercise as much as possible is the best way to do that. So I'm going to talk about the exercise. So this is how you do it, the pushing down exercise. The easiest way to do it, in my opinion, is to lie down. Some people like to sit down like this, where their back's straight. What you want to be doing is you want to either close your eyes or open your eyes. I tend to lie down on the floor and close my eyes. Make sure your eyes are pointing straight ahead. Don't roll them up into the back of your head or anything like that, like you see in some meditations. And then what you need to do is you need to focus on the feet. You can focus on the fingers if you want, but we like to focus on the feet. The reason being is it's the furthest down to the earth as possible. It's very, very yang, because we're bringing energy downwards. We want to keep our attention downwards as well. When you're focusing on the feet, what will happen is the monkey mind will tend to just run over the day's events. It'll just think, and it kind of wants to get everything off its chest and off its mind. If you see your mind wandering off, like it will do, just bring it back to the feet, bring it back to the feet, bring it back to the feet. What that's going to do, it's going to start training your mind to just focus on one thing. It develops the will. It develops this kind of grounded thinking. When thoughts arise, you need to just watch the thoughts like a cloud. Don't react to them. Try not to get anxious. Try not to fall into them. But the thoughts are going to come up like a cloud. It's a little bit like a filing system, where the brain will chuck out the things at the top of the list first. And if you can just watch and watch and watch like clouds passing through the sky, that's the best way to do it. The second thing you want to be doing is you want to be focusing, you want to be moving energy downwards. Now this is a little bit difficult for some people in the beginning, because some people can't feel this energy. If you can't feel it, just visualize it. You want to be imagining energy moving down the body. Some people can feel it straight away because it is a real energy. I could feel it straight away. If you want to hear me talk more about this energy and what it's done in my life, please watch a video on my YouTube channel called The Esoteric Abilities I Have Gained Whilst Being on a Nutritional Balancing Program, and that's a video where I speak much more about the pushing down exercise. But basically what you want to be doing is imagining energy moving through the body. If you can feel it, that's excellent. If you can feel it in the beginning, you'll generally find that the energies are moving up around the head and it's not very directional. If it's not directional for you, or if it is directional, just keep pushing it down as much as possible. Now there is some visualizations that are really good for that. The best, I've always used a visualization of lying in a stream and allowing energy. You visualize energy going down the body. Other people like other ways of doing visualizations. One is like, imagine a vacuum cleaner at the bottom of your feet and it's just sucking energy through. Another one is, imagine that you're in a press. Say you're in this press and the press is coming down slowly and it's pushing energy down the body. As you get more used to doing this, you'll find that maybe you'll get pain in your chakras as your chakras start opening up. Other things that might happen is that your muscles and your jaw might start to align. You might get shivering down the spine. Often the energy will get stuck in certain areas of the body, and this can cause a problem sometimes. You know, if the energy gets stuck, you know, a good way to go about it is to do some deep breaths, deep breathing. You can rub the feet on a reflex area on the foot. So if you're interested in that, have a look at reflexology and see what area corresponds to the place that's been stuck and rub that area. You could use a red heat lamp on the area. We use red heat lamps in the nutritional balancing program. If you want to know more about that, check out near infrared sauna therapy. Do the spinal twist. The spinal twist is part of the nutritional balancing program as well. These are all good ways of allowing this energy to move through the body. So in simple terms, you want to be lying down or sitting up. Imagine the feet and thoughts are going to come up, and you want to be visualizing and pushing energy down. Sometimes you'll feel a tingling sensation in the body. If you're concentrating on the feet, your feet will start tingling usually. That is energy. If you concentrate on the fingers, which some people like to do, you can concentrate on one finger at a time and allow energy to run down the hand. Sometimes it's easier for people in the beginning to just allow energy to move down the hand. As you get better at the nutritional balancing, as you get better at the pushing down exercise, you can move from the hand to the feet, where you know you're concentrating mainly on the feet. Now, one thing that's going to happen in this, well, there's a few things that happen, but when you concentrate on the feet, what that's going to do is it's going to allow the mind to start processing stuff, and old traumas and old memories and old thoughts are going to start coming up, are going to likely to come up, to be released, to be healed. Sometimes you don't know where they come from. Sometimes you do know where they come from. It's really important just to allow the thoughts to come up. Just see them as clouds passing by if you can. If you need to cry, but try not to get anxious, try not to get angry. Just realize that these are often thoughts from the past and they need to be released, the traumas. And whenever you've got a trauma, it's a little bit like holding a big boulder and carrying a big boulder around on your shoulder. And you want to get rid of that, obviously, for top quality healing and rejuvenation. Remember, you're bringing God into your life. It's a development process. The more godly energy you bring into your life, the more that you're going to develop. It also allows a person to ground. People are really, really ungrounded today. So getting out of your head, concentrating on the feet and pushing energy downwards is excellent for becoming more grounded. What it also does is it allows a deprogramming system to start to occur. You need to realize that as you've grew up in a Western world or wherever you've grown up around the world, you have been programmed by teachers, by parents, by society, by advertisement, by food on shelves, by the education system. This is a programming system that's going to start playing out in your body. People are basically being brainwashed, and they're in a slight hypnotization where they're just living on autopilot and they're just living these rules that their mind, their ego set up for itself to deal with everyday life. As you start to becoming a witness, that's something that happens because you start separating yourself, your inner self, from your thoughts. You start to see things for what they are truthfully, and it might be a bit of a shock to you. This is a deprogramming system. It's a bit like rebooting the system. You've got to, for you to understand how the world works, you've got to see things from an outside perspective. You basically got to see the woods for the trees, and that's what the pushing down exercise does. It allows you to be in a position where you can see things from a different angle, and it starts a deprogramming system. Another thing that's really interesting is entity removal. This is quite an esoteric subject, but you need to realize that there are entities in this world, dark entities. You know, people relate to them sometimes of ghosts or poltergeists or just annoying spirits that just in this world. I know this might sound weird to a lot of people, but it seems to be the truth. And a lot of people who are sick, these entities kind of grow and feed off a sick energy field. And what the pushing down exercise does is it brings energy into the body. It allows the mind to relax. It allows the mind to calm down. It detoxes a person, and it'll also remove these entities from the body because the entities can't be surrounded by so much good and truth and light anymore. They just can't feed on that energy, so the entities will come off. Other things is that your subtle energy field will increase. So anyone that's aware of chakras are aware of the 7 main chakras. We also have subtle energy bodies that grow outwards. These energy bodies are energy. These are the energy of God and love. And the more of this energy and love that comes into the body, the more of these subtle, fine energy centers are going to grow outwards and outwards and outwards until you can basically feel the aura that you're giving off around yourself. What happens as well is something called personality integration. A lot of people don't understand their true personality. Everyone does have a true personality that's going to come out as you're on the program. People are very confused about their personality. Again, it's similar to being the witness, similar to the deprogramming. As you deprogram, you start to learn the untruths and you start to learn the truths. As you start to learn more of the truth and let go of the untruth, your inner personality will start to come out, the inner you, your inner confidence, your inner self-esteem, the inner laughter and love and joyous soul that you are inside, but sometimes it's difficult for you to come to terms with or for you to feel because you're so toxic and confused a lot of the time. The pushing down exercise is going to help unwind all of that as well. So you're going to get some physical retracing and some mental and spiritual retracing. As you're bringing this energy into the body, this energy is the energy of good. It's the energy of love. It's the energy of what gives life to things. It basically creates life. So when you bring this into the system, it's going to want to create the human body as it was designed. And what that means is anything that's not designed in the human body, like toxins and chemicals, are going to start coming out the system. One really important and very amazing thing that happens is that when you do the push down exercise and you start to think less, the brain will realize that actually the copper that it was using to make the mind think is gonna be released from the body, because the mind no longer needs that copper because it was using it in the past to make the brain overthink. So as you do the push down exercise and you start to not listen to your thoughts, that copper is no longer needed and it's detoxed from the body. You might get some mental emotional healing. I've already spoke a little bit about this in trauma release. As you start to file the system, as the thoughts coming out, old thoughts that you kept hidden for a long time might come up and will often come up. These might be old memories. You don't know where they come from. That might be an abuse. Might be just someone looking at you funny. It might be the fact that you've not loved your parents for so long. It might be you're not respected your parents. You've not respected your friends. You're starting to see how your personality is in the real world and how it can affect other people. That can cause anxiety. It can cause fear. It can cause anger. It can cause sadness. It can cause a little bit of depression. That's the emotional, mental side. As you start to realize the truth, as untruths start to come out and be exposed, you might get mental and emotional reactions as well. Another final reaction is probably a spiritual reaction. Again, we are spiritual beings. We're here to grow. We're here to develop. We're here to evolve. As you become more aware of what's going on in the world, how you've been treated, how the powers that be have kind of infiltrated the system a little bit and how good and evil works, you might become more aware of the truth, and that's more of a spiritual development, a spiritual awareness, where you've got to reshift the way that you approach life and the way that you think about life. And this is a reaction that you can get while doing the pushing down exercise. So when's the best to do it? The best time usually is in the morning. At night time there is a tendency to sleep, so the best time is in the morning. I love doing the pushing down exercise in nature. I feel that the environment really helps. How often? You want to be doing it really as much as possible. In the beginning it might be a little bit difficult because the mind wanders so much. So 10 minutes, 20 minutes, but ideally you want to be doing for about a minimum of 1 hour per day. Even 2 hours a day is excellent. In my position now, I've pushed energy down so much that it's just a natural thing for me to subconsciously push energy down. Even when I'm speaking to you now, subconsciously I feel energy moving down the system, which is really, really good to get into that habit. Longer sessions are the best. Just try and do it basically as much as possible, but as I say, it might be difficult in the beginning. So some powerful things that you can do to kind of enhance the pushing down exercise, there's something called a 3-part breath. Basically what you do is when you're lying down, you want to be breathing into the abdomen for around 5 to 10 seconds. So the abdomen comes outwards when you breathe in. For around 5 seconds. If you're lying down on the floor, you can put some books on top of your abdomen, on top of your stomach. And when you breathe in, the books should rise. After around 7 seconds, you can move that from the abdomen, and then move it into the chest. So the chest puffs up as well. And then hold that for 7 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds, and then afterwards you push right down. That's a little bit tricky sometimes because as you go from the abdomen to the chest, you're kind of moving upwards a little bit, so it's difficult to keep the energy pushing down, but it's a really good way of actually enhancing the pushing down exercise, because the oxygenation and the breath really helps with the whole dynamic of the exercise. Other things you can do are things like open water. Open water is a type of water where the water's got a certain molecule that draws energy into it. So you can buy something called open water online. If you go to drlwilson.com and type in open water, it'll give you some list of waters that you can buy. If you just put open water at the bottom of your feet, that's naturally going to allow this energy to move through even more. Another good thing is to have your feet facing the equator. The whole Earth, in fact, everything in the universe has this energy moving through it. Often it's in a toroidal fashion, so it's a little bit like a donut, so it's coming down and coming out and coming down, coming out. If anyone's not watched the documentary Thrive on YouTube, check that out. They talk about the torus, free energy, anything like that, all uses this energy system of God, of love, of quantum mesh. So by facing the equator, you're in line with the Earth's natural energy movement, which moves down the south, down to the equator, and then outwards again. Another thing you can do is you can buy a sensitive millimeter machine. If you go on Dr. Wilson's website, drlwilson.com, search for meter, you can buy a machine where you can hook the machine up to your body and you can push energy downwards and you can see the meter rise up and down. That's the energy moving through the system. So this is more of a scientific thing than something psychological like a lot of people do. Another good thing is to sit next to a big tree. Big trees naturally just suck energy downwards. A lot of people feel much more grounded doing it next to a tree. That's something I like to do sometimes, is just sit next to a big tree and allow the energy to move through yourself. Also, the Earth has natural vortexes. This is a little bit more complex. It's more harder to come across. But if you know where there are natural vortexes on Earth that kind of bring the energy downwards, that's another good thing to do as well. So there's 3 problems in the pushing down exercise that everyone's going to come across. Number 1 is distractions, things going off outside. Number 2 is boredom, people getting bored because it's taking a long time, etc., etc. And kind of disturbances of like thoughts coming up and etc., etc. These are the 3 things that cause the biggest problems in the pushing down exercise. When you get a distraction, a phone call, birds tweeting, car engines beeping, etc., etc., just try and move your focus back to the feet, back to the feet, back to the feet, and try not to wander too much. If you get bored, a lot of people get bored in the beginning because they don't really understand what's going off. The more that you do the program, the more that the mind quietens down. You actually really look forward to it. It's a really powerful, healing, relaxing method. Realizing the beginning, and the reason why it's a lot different to most meditations, is that it's not actually relaxing. Pushing the energy downwards is quite painful sometimes, and especially if it gets stuck in a lot of areas, it's difficult to actually move the energy downwards. So after a while, once you get used to it, it's still quite difficult because you're pushing energy downwards and it does take some mental power. It becomes quite relaxing. You can open yourself up to God easier. You can get better insights. Your mind's much more quieter. Okay. So other things you can do is you can do something called a neck pull. Again, drlwilson.com, type in neck pull. Basically, a neck pull is if you lying down, basically what you're doing is you want to push your head forwards and keep your shoulders back. Push your head forwards and you'll hear a little clicking sound usually at the back of your spine. That's an opening channel for more energy to come down the body. Other ideas is just imagining like a tornado coming down the body and sucking the energy downwards, and that really kind of enhances things. You can do it with other people, lying side by side. You can also do it with your partner in something called down sex. It's a lot different to regular sex. It's more of a meditation exercise, but when you do down sex, it's very, very, very powerful. It's a little bit like having sex, but it's just bringing energy downwards. It's more of a meditation while you're having sex. So that's something that you want to look into. Again, drlwilson.com, search for down sex. I'm not going to go into things too much. I'm just giving you the basic outlines. I'm giving you, a fair bit of information, but Dr. Wilson goes into all of these different aspects in much more detail. So if you're interested, type in Dr. L. Wilson pushing down exercise, Dr. L. Wilson open water, Dr. L. Wilson down sex. Anything that I kind of talk about, the meter, you can find in article form, which is going to be much more in depth. All right, so that's a pushing down exercise. Again, just quickly, lie down or sit in a chair. Imagine you're concentrate on your feet. When you concentrate on your feet, your brain is going to start releasing thoughts, releasing emotions. Traumas might come up. Just watch them like a cloud. Don't fall into the habit of getting stuck inside of them. If you do, just move it back to your feet. You might want to speak to your practitioner if the trauma comes up, or you might want to speak to a counsellor, etc., 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 to deal with all them different things that are going to come up in weird and wonderful ways. While you're doing that, you want to be pushing the energy downwards. Use as many visualizations as possible. I like to imagine a stream. You can imagine a tornado. You can imagine a vacuum cleaner. Realize that this is the energy of God. It's the energy of love. It's going to make you powerful. It's going to give you esoteric abilities. If you don't feel the energy straight away, don't worry about it. It will come. Just visualize it, visualize it, visualize it, and generally you'll find after a while it will get it will increase. Remember, this is the energy, the true energy, the energy of life, the energy of love. You know what I mean? This is not some wishy-washy meditation exercise. This is the most powerful exercise that you're ever going to do in your life today. So make sure you try and do it straight away. Do it for as long as possible, and it'll be the best thing that you've ever done. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you want to know more, if you want to get in touch and you want to start a nutritional balancing program, please send me an email, lewis@deephealingspace.com. That's LEWIS. Check out our website, www.deephealingspace.com. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you soon. Ciao.